Hello everybody, I'm Tom and you are watching me play Warframe. Today is going to be my Hydroid build. This is Hydroid Prime. He's quite nice. Well, he looks quite nice, I should say. I'll go over the build first and then go over his abilities just here. I've noticed that they actually list their abilities down here and they actually highlight them fairly well, so I don't actually have to go through them in the abilities section. But his first is Tempest Barrage. He targets an area and you call down essentially really heavy rain that does damage to people in an area. They like sort of impact on the ground and explode and do damage to everyone around them. His number 2 is Tidal Surge. He turns into like a little wave and like shoots forward. His third is Undertow. Whoops. He picks up enemies with him as he does this, by the way. He like pushes them all forward. He has Undertow, which turns into a puddle. Pretty much what he does, he turns into a puddle and you can drown enemies in that puddle. And then his 4 is Tentacle Swarm, where he like summons the Kraken. Release the Kraken, as it were. And tentacles go around picking up all the enemies and like whacking the enemies around. So that's pretty much it. Actually, I do have to go into abilities for his passive, unfortunately. Slam attacks have a 50% chance to summon a tentacle. It's not particularly amazing. Honestly, I forgot what it was, which is why I had to look it up, because I forgot. It's so niche and weird that I forgot it was even a thing. But as far as the actual build goes, this is my regular build here. Corrosive Projection, because getting rid of armor is always a good thing. Cunning Drift is here for the ability range. You also get a bit of speed there from extra slide and less friction. We have Prime Continuity here for duration. Quick Thinking is here to stop him dying, essentially Prime Flow and Quick Thinking. The reason I chose to do Prime Flow and Quick Thinking is that he wants a lot of energy anyway, and you can get a lot of the time against very high level enemies, you're going to be in a puddle a lot of, like, you're just going to be a puddle, and you're invulnerable while you're a puddle, so you don't need a huge amount of survivability, but this is very useful for when you got to move fast, for instance, and you got to run through areas, because you will get shot as you're doing it. Here we have Corroding Barrage. What this does is on his 1, it makes him do corrosive damage, so it strips armor. So each projectile has a 100% chance to inflict a corrosive status effect. So essentially you just continuously proc corrosive on them. The idea being you want to get rid of all the armor as much as possible, because the armor is the big problem in doing damage with Hydroid's abilities. Then we have Stretch for ability range, Umbral Intensify for ability strength, Augur Secrets for more ability strength, and Transient Fortitude for more ability strength. So on this build I got like 200% ability strength. This is for damage on Undertow. And then the range is about 160 and duration about 128. So that gives Tentacle Swarm about 25 seconds. But what this is really for is Undertow and Barrage, is what this is. You go into Undertow, you cast Barrage to strip all the armor while they're under your Undertow, and then they will die just by taking a bunch of damage because they're all in the Undertow. The second one is just the Looter build, which is using Pilfering Swarm. So enemies that die when they're being held by a tentacle double their drop chance for items. The build is very similar, except it's more focused on range. So I've got Cunning Drift in here, again, ability range. They're all the same. Pilfering Swarm, Stretch is the same. I've got Overextended, Augur Reach, and Intensify here just to bring the attack power up a bit, because it's very, very low without the Intensify. So, very, very big range. That gives, what, 14 meter radius on Tentacle Swarm, which is fairly good, and 30-second duration. It also gives him very big explosions on his Tempest Barrage, which is also nice, I suppose, but it's mainly there for the tentacles. The idea here being is that you're not killing things with his abilities. What you're doing is holding all the enemies up, and then letting your teammates, or you with a weapon, kill them all and get extra loot. That's what that build is for. But the regular build is what we'll do today. I won't bother showing off the loot build, because it's pretty simple. You just hit 4. I mean, that's what he does. And then you kill enemies while they're being held by tentacles. That's pretty much all you do in that build. As far as arcanes, I got Arcane Aegis because I just like Arcane Aegis, and Arcane Nullify because I don't like magnetic procs. That's pretty much the only reason I've got them. All right, so first things first, I'll do the level 50 test. Level 50 test should be fairly quick, I think. I haven't actually done the level 50 test on him, but sure, it's fine. Get some energy. Which he has a lot of energy, by the way. Turn into a puddle. Whoop. As long as you don't get knocked over. Turn into a puddle. You see at the bottom right, I have 6 enemies in my puddle right now. We'll cast Tempest Barrage. Whoop. There's another one. That's 8 enemies in here. 9 enemies in here. And the more enemies you have in there, the more damage it will tick up. It's kind of hard to see the damage numbers right now, but I'm doing like 10,000 per tick, I think. 11,000 per tick. There's a bunch dying there. The kind of trash enemies. Cast your 1 again. Gets rid of some more armor. 17,000 per tick. 18,000 per tick. 19,000 per tick. 20,000 per tick. The reason this is taking a while, by the way, is the fact that there is a healer in here. The healer's dead now. Everything else will die very quickly. Yeah. As soon as the healer died, everything else died. So really what you should do is shoot the healer first. If you're going to be optimal about it, I suppose. Like that. And then you get these guys. These guys will die fairly quickly. It's worth noting that while you're in your 3, you can use your 2 to move around. There you go. Caught those guys. Or I caught one of them at least. Fall into my puddle. There he goes. And he's dead. Alright, I think that's everyone dead. Oh no, one more. Dead. Alright, so I think that's everyone dead. The only thing I didn't show off there is his tentacle swarm, which if you push and hold. It's worth noting that his 1 and his 4 you can hold to be more powerful. It gives him more range and, in the tentacles case, more tentacles. There's the Kraken as he's poking his head out, and there his tentacles going all over the place. He picks up enemies, that's what he does. Very Japanese. And once again with his 1, I'll show above water, is you go like this. And you can see there, from the sky you get all these things coming down, randomly hitting the ground. The explosion is big enough that it actually hits a lot of enemies. Because the actual impact gives explosive damage and does like an explosion radius, it actually is fairly reliable at hitting things. But that's pretty much what he does in a nutshell. And honestly, the 140 test will go very similar. Or 145 test, I should say now. The 145 test goes very, very similarly. The only difference is it takes longer. So, I mean, I can show it. I'll probably speed this up because, as I said, it takes a while. Yeah, do the same thing with 145 enemies. I'll kill the healer first this time. Hey, none of that. I'm gonna cheat and stand on this healing orb. Did I kill the healer? I think I killed one of the healers. Alright, healer's dead. So now I've got 4 enemies in here. 2 of them are bombards, 2 of them are like kind of weaker enemies. I cast my 1 so I can strip a bunch of their armor. I have corrosive protection on here, so they have slightly less armor than they would have otherwise. I see, there you go. They're all dead now. Let's go over here, catch these guys. Oh, apparently I didn't catch them? Or they just died, one or the other. There we go, 6 enemies here. Once again, push and hold my Tempest Barrage. I mean, you can just tap it. But you may as well push and hold it. There's no real reason not to, I don't think. I think it just does more damage. These guys are all dead. It's actually taking quicker. This is actually going quicker than the lower level test because I killed the healers first. Killing the healers first does make it significantly more fast. But as you can see, it's a fairly passive playstyle. It's just staying in a puddle. How is this guy not dead yet? I'm just gonna kill him. Yeah. You're a Lancer, no one cares. I'll show off his 4 here. Now these guys are caught in the tentacles, and you can kind of shoot them at your leisure. I think they're all dead. They carry the corpses around too, so it's a bit hard to tell whether or not they're dead a lot of the time. Oh, 1 left. Oh, 2 left. I don't understand how these crewmen always end up living. Whoa. I was about to say they're the weakest guys, but apparently not. Apparently this crewman had something to prove. Oh no, he died anyway. I slash-procced him with my Infectus. So apparently that crewman had something to prove. He did manage to kill me, so I mean there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much how I play him. It pretty much involves going into a puddle and then Tempest Barrage. Granted, when I'm in a group, I usually just do my Pilfering Swarm build. So I usually just do this and then get the extra loot. But that's about it. He's fairly simple. He also, like, Hydro Prime only took one former, and, like, I was going to do a second one, but then I came to the realization that there's, like, literally nothing in here that I would want that's better. Like, this is kind of exactly what I want him to be, and only took one former. I'm not used to that on Warframes. They usually take more than one, even on Prime frames. Like, most Primes take, like, 2 or 3 a lot of the time. Usually at least 2. Getting away with one former is pretty good. Regular Hydroid takes more than one. It takes 2 former on regular Hydroid. But anyway, that's it. So thanks for watching. I shall see you next time. Where next time we will be doing... what, Avara? Yeah, because I've already done Inaros, so Avara is next. Cool. So that will be next Wednesday will be Avara. So thanks for watching. I shall see you next time. Bye.